daughter and two boys, or two girls and one boy, some other combination, do you feel that you would have felt differently about
No,
you
I
getting
felt that
education and-
each child, I always wanted my daughters to be able to stand on their 2 feet in case anything happened in their life where they had to support themselves for the rest of their lives. That was very important, and I always told you girls, I always drummed it into you. Get an education, be able to maintain yourself, to take care of yourself. Because actually, I'm lucky to have Daddy. I don't know if I had to maintain myself, just how much money I would make. Although I was a smart businessman, and the 2 deals I made with the house is the parking lot in the house.
Smarter than the rest of you.
Yes.
So you think we would have had this?
Smartest
I
thing.
think if I was a little more dramatic and
No,
a better actress,
smartest
maybe I
thing-
would have had more deals.
The smartest thing you ever did is when you married me.
You're right.
How do you feel about that, Dad?
Huh?
If you had had a son,
What?
do you feel that you would have raised your son differently than your daughters, or felt that education was more important for the son than for your
I
daughters?
No.
really couldn't tell you.
No,
I really would never think.
you know your father in education.
I wouldn't know how to ask that question, because to me, I would have probably raised the boys the same as the girls, a system and education.
Anytime you girls got any, where something nice happened to you, he was very, very proud.
Okay, all I'm trying to say is, I think sometimes have the feeling that we had some opportunities because we didn't have any brothers.
I don't
We
think
went to
so.
the hockey game with you, we went to the symphony with you, we did certain things with you that if you had a son, you might have chosen to take the son to do those things
Well, maybe
instead.
so. I never really gave it any thought. Really, I mean, honestly, I can answer you that. I didn't miss not having any boys. I didn't miss it.
Because, you know, he doesn't pay that much more attention to the grandsons than the girls.
I didn't
The
miss
girls,
it.
I think he always liked girls, what can I tell you?
That was your answer. I like girls.
But he's certainly proud of his family. And my grandchildren, really, they've given me the pleasures of life. I'm
Don't
very,
say
very
me,
proud.
us. Always say us.
Yes, that's one satisfaction I have out of my life.
Did you finish with that tape yet?
Should be almost finished. I'm wondering. Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing about your
We're
father.
talking all night.
Your father always demanded respect, and you know that. Iris, you know that, honey. One time you opened a big mouth at me, and I got off the phone and I was crying, and your father got on the phone and said, Iris, you better call your mother right back and apologize.
When that happened.
You know when it happened. But he always demanded respect. That, you know, we had a house where we had to have respect.
Well, we made you sort of pretty clean. You never heard any cuss words in our house like some families.
Only for Mother.
Not really, no.
We never used any dirty words in our family.
Mother whispered.
Mother did. Well, I
It's
never
when
heard
you
it.
were grown up.
You did? I never heard it.
Later on, but not when your father was
I
a
never-
No, not when we were little.
I never did.
No,
No,
you
you never did. And you would never let anybody tell a dirty
No,
joke in front of
nothing,
us,
no.
or
And you won't let Mother swear in front of us.
I taught you how to
When you were
swear
out.
later on. But not when you were growing up. No, I told you. There was nothing like his daughters.
Go and wash the dishes, will you please? They get dirty over there.
No.
They stay dirty.
It's the year to be pampered. This year, Gersha has to be pampered all the way.
Did you think you were going to make it for 50 years when you started out?
Well, yes, I was brought up in that atmosphere. That I told you, my mother said, you married him, you had a fight, go home and make up.
Gosh,
You had to work at it.
Not an atmosphere.
No, Effie.
So you would never think, irrespective of what kind of marriage you had, of
Oh,
getting a divorce?
no, I don't know that. No, if I was unhappy, I'd be unhappy. I wouldn't live with anybody and be unhappy. But you can't have everything your way. You have to give, too.
You should have seen
And
the
it so
atmosphere
happens
of the
I'm
house.
a big giver. So it worked out very, very well.
were there times that you were very unhappy, Mother? Did you have some big fights?
Not really. We didn't really fight, no.
Fight? Oh, I used to tell you what to do and you did it, that's all.
No, I'm not a fighter. You know I'm not a fighter. I start crying right away, so I can't fight.
We fight a lot of times, mostly about your children. Most of our fights were about your girls. There are certain ways that I didn't approve of, and I used to tell her. But otherwise, couldn't fight too much.
No, we had a nice marriage, really, a nice family life.
You girls had a good time growing up.
Well, let me ask you one more thing. Dad was used to having his freedom, so to speak, or he was 20 years as an adult.
That's where I was lucky.
And your mother,
Your mother didn't interfere with me too much. I used
This
to go
one
on
became
a lot of
Virgin Mary
vacations
after he got married.
Yeah, well, I know, but she used to go to the hockey games and the pinochle games. I mean, I wouldn't like that so much.
Racetracks.
She didn't interfere with me. She let me do whatever I wanted to do.
I'll tell you one thing that he would do that I wouldn't do. He was on vacation and he told me to come down and leave you kids. I would never leave you kids, especially one time I was coming down when you were older and you got mononucleosis. I wouldn't leave
I was
you.
your last senior if I could.
I would never leave you.
Senior year in high school.
I was always there for you. I would not go away, and he would, but I wouldn't.
I used to go down to hospital.
Well, Daddy had a problem with his
in the
health,
fall.
but it was convenient to go away for his
to
health.
take the bus up there with a friend of mine. Well, about the best to be business on the same street with us. And then in the spring, and in May, I used to go down with Doc Gersha and what's his name? Chicago.
Well, he's thinking, what's his name?
Four
Remember the
fellas
trip
used to
that
drive
we
down-
went
used
to
drive
New
down
York?
Florida.
That we
Dr.
left you
Robbins?
Huh?
with
Dr.
Aunt
Robbins?
Sarah.
Doctor?
We
Robbins,
got off the
remember
plane
him?
and I called back to Chicago to see how you were. And I find out that you're all home, that you wouldn't stay with her. We got on the plane right the next hour back to Chicago. We never took that trip because I wouldn't leave you children. I never left you children, except when you were grown up. That was different.
Yeah. Well, it must have been difficult, Dad, given the fact that your whole life you had so many different jobs, you lived in so many different places, you picked up and left when you felt like it. To make the kind of change to have not only a wife but a family right away.
He was good with you children. He would
That must
come
have been
home
a big
and he
change.
would bathe you. We'd take walks in the park at night in the hot summer
Well, the
nights,
mother
no air
was good about it.
conditioning.
She never told me you cannot go with the boys to Florida. She let me do whatever I wanted to do.
Didn't leave you whatever
go
you
to
wanted.
Hot Springs. Well, she'd have to go to Hot Springs.
All of a sudden his health became a problem. His health, I wanted him to
So
be
then
healthy.
maybe one of the successes of the marriage was that she didn't put the screws on too tight or the chain too tight.
Yeah, I would never could have taken it. She did.
And you were smart enough to know who you married and
But
Well, enough to keep her mouth shut.
of all his boyfriends, and I found out later that they chased other women on their little escapades, whatever, he was a good boy. But I told after,
you know.
when he married me, I found out after me there was, nobody could take my place. There's nobody else. That was it.
We sewed all the white oats.
got it all out of the system.
He played around plenty before he got married. Enough's enough.
You better keep your mouth shut. That's
What love?
Well, it sounds like you've had a good marriage.
Yes. I wouldn't say we haven't had a good marriage. I could have been pampered more like the first year. Gee, he was didn't know what to do with me the first year.
He learned.
I knew what to do with you, all right.
It's like an iris.
I think it was really wonderful that you were both able to give each other the amount of, whatever you want to say, freedom to do what you needed to do, and the time that you needed to be, you could go off to
She
the.
still has freedom. She goes every day. She goes with her
Yeah.
girlfriends all over the place, and she needs to stay home by
You
herself.
poor darling, do you want me to stay home and watch you smoke and die from the cigarettes? He's trying to kill me off fast now. He doesn't want to leave before me. He wants to make sure that I'll go 20 years his junior to go with him.
20 years, exaggerating.
18 years.
Always in her favor.
So how long were you married before you knew
25
Daddy's?
years.
25 years we went to get a passport. Well, we were married in
25
such a
years.
hurry.
We got a
The
passport.
relatives
We
were
got a
there,
passport in-
and we were so busy making
We got
the
a passport
wedding.
in 1966. So how long were you married? 39. You were married 27 years already.
Then I found out, I look and I said, look, his age. I never even looked at to see his age.
Well, you must have asked him how old he was when you
He,
first met him.
sure, he told me 4 years younger.
Now, what did your
I'm
mother
still-
say about
I'm still 4
dating
years
someone?
younger now. My driver's license is 4 years younger.
Still.
Yeah.
And when did you become a citizen, Dad?
Oh, in the early 50s.
In the early
The
50s?
40s, something.